Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're plunging right into the thick of the 2025 NBA Finals. It's been an absolutely wild ride so far.
It really has. Just incredible intensity back and forth.
Yeah, between two really exciting young teams, right? The Thunder out west, the Pacers from the east. What's really stood out to you about this matchup?
Well, it's funny that Thunder actually swept the regular season series. They won back in December, 120 to 114.
Right.
And then again in March, pretty comfortably, 132-111. But these finals, it's just a completely different beast.
Totally different. The pressure, the adjustments. So our mission today is to really unpack this series narrative, especially games 4 and 5. Those were pivotal. And then look ahead, see what it all means for game 6, maybe even game 7.
Sounds good. It's been, like you said, a real roller coaster of momentum.
Okay, so let's quickly recap how we got here. Game 1, June 5th in OKC. That was a shocker, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. A stunner. Pacers pull off that late comeback, 116-115.
Stealing home court right off the bat. That must have sent a message.
Definitely. It showed they weren't intimidated. But OKC answered right back in Game 2, didn't they?
They did, June 8th. A much more convincing win, 108-92. SGA, the MVP, he really led the charge there. Looked like they settled things down.
Yeah, they needed that response. It showed their resilience.
Yeah.
But then the series shifts to Indy for Game 3.
June 11th. And the Pacers held serve, 114-106. Halliburton almost got that triple-double.
Right, 18 points, 7 boards, 11 assists. Close.
But the big story was maybe Benedict Mathurin off the bench.
Absolutely. Playoff high, 27 points for him. And he was super efficient, 9 for 12 shooting. That gave Indiana the 2-1 lead. Huge lift.
So that brings us to Game 4. June 13th, back in Indy. This felt absolutely crucial. Pacers could go up 3-1. Thunder trying desperately to tie it.
Yeah, arguably the most evenly matched game of the whole series. It swung back and forth.
How did that one unfold? Because OKC got the win, but it wasn't easy.
Not at all. Thunder actually started pretty well, built in an early lead. Jalen Williams, he was big in that first quarter. But the Pacers, they just kept calm, chipped away. By the end of the third, Indiana was actually up by 7. It really felt like they might grab that 3-1 lead.
But the fourth quarter, that was all OKC, wasn't it? Specifically, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Completely. SGA just took over. I mean, he scored 15 of his 35 points in just the last 5 minutes. It was just a masterclass in clutch play, scoring, making the right reads. Incredible.
What else worked for the Thunder in that comeback? Because it wasn't just Shai, right?
No, definitely not. Chet Holmgren was huge on the glass. He had, 15 points and 15 rebounds, a big double-double. His defense and rebounding were absolutely essential down the stretch.
And Caruso off the bench?
Alex Caruso, yeah. He was a massive spark, 20 points and 5 steals. So just disruptive defensively, forced a lot of those 15 Pacers turnovers. His energy was infectious.
Can't forget Jalen Williams either. He had 27 in that game, got to the line a ton.
Right, 11 for 11 from the free throw line, put constant pressure on Indiana's D.
And on the Pacers side, Siakam played well. 20 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals even. Halliburton had 18 and 7 assists. Mathurin added 14 off the bench again. It was close.
They were close. And Coach Dignol even said afterwards something like, we didn't control that game. They knew they got away with one almost. He said they needed critical adjustments for Game 5.
Which is interesting, winning but knowing you need to be better. What kind of adjustments do you think they were focusing on heading back home?
Well, defensively, probably finding ways to make Halliburton even more uncomfortable. And offensively, maybe generating easier looks, taking some pressure off SGA, needing those late-game heroics every single time.
Makes sense. Which leads us to Game 5. Sunday, June 16th, back in Oklahoma City. Series tied 2-2. You could feel the tension. This was probably the biggest game yet.
Absolutely. Winner takes that crucial 3-2 lead. And it definitely lived up to the hype.
How did it start? OKC came out strong again, right?
Yeah, they jumped out early, built up an 18-point lead, actually. Looked like they might run away with it.
But these Pacers, they just don't quit.
Never. They're so resilient. They led the league in the playoffs with 5 comeback wins when down 15 or more points. It's kind of their thing. So, yeah, they started chipping away again.
And this comeback attempt was happening even with Tyrese Halliburton really struggling.
Yeah, that was a major storyline. Just 4 points for Halliburton. He went 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 4 from 3, looked hampered.
There were reports he aggravated a leg issue early on.
That's right, first quarter. And Coach Carlisle basically confirmed it after the game, said he's not 100%. It's pretty clear.
So how much was the injury versus OKC's defense really locking in on him?
It's always tough to say. Probably a bit of both. The injury definitely limited his burst, but guys like Caruso, Cason Wallace, they were hounding him too. Made life really difficult for him.
But even with Halliburton struggling, the Pacers hung around.
They did. That depth is real. TJ McConnell came off the bench and was fantastic. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists in just 22 minutes. A huge spark plug.
And Siakam kept them in it too.
Yeah, Siakam was solid. He actually hit some big shots to cut the lead down to just 2 points, 95-93, late in the game. Felt like maybe they could steal another one. Mathurin, though, he had foul trouble, only 5 points. Obi Toppin chipped in 10.
But OKC had an answer this time. Unlike Game 1, they didn't let it slip away.
Nope. They slammed the door shut, went on a decisive 18-4 run in that fourth quarter, just took control and finished strong for a 120-109 win.
SGA was great again, 31 points, 10 assists. But Game 5, that belonged to Jalen Williams.
Absolutely. He didn't just contribute, he stole the show. It was a sensational performance, maybe the performance that decided the game, honestly.
Tell us about it. The numbers are staggering.
They really are. Playoff career high, 40 points for J-Dub. And he was so efficient doing it. 14 of 25 from the field, that's 56%. Hit 3 of 5 threes, 60% there. Got to the line 9 of 12, plus 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and only 1 turnover. Just incredible stuff.
Especially with the defense probably shading towards SGA, right? For Williams to step up like that.
Exactly. It shows his growth, his confidence. And you have to think OKC made adjustments to get him those looks. Maybe running more actions for him, letting him attack mismatches when the Pacers overloaded on Shai.
The historical context here is pretty wild, too.
It really is. He's only 24, became the 5th youngest player ever to score 40 in a finals game. Think about that list. Magic Johnson, Russell Westbrook, Devin Booker, Kyrie Irving.
Wow.
Yeah. And get this, he scored 40 in a finals game, something legends like Larry Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon, Karl Malone, Kawhi, Dirk, they never did that.
That's unbelievable context.
Right. And he's only the 9th guy ever with 40-plus points and less than 2 turnovers in the finals. People were calling it the Jalen Williams game online. Justifiably so.
What did Coach Daigneault say about him after that performance?
He praised his force, called it an unbelievable performance. But he also mentioned Jalen's growth as someone who can run the offense, be a primary initiator.
Yeah.
He said something like, as much as Shai closed the game, I thought Jalen kept us afloat in a lot of different periods. That ability takes huge pressure off SGA.
Absolutely. It makes them so much harder to guard. But let's not completely overshadow Shai's game either. His line was historic in its own right.
Definitely not. SGA had 31 points, 10 assists, but also 4 blocks and 2 steals. Apparently, he's the first player ever to put up that specific stat line in an NBA Finals game.
Ever. Wow.
Yeah. And that was his 15th 30-point game this postseason. Puts him in company with Kobe, Hakeem, Michael Jordan. Just consistently brilliant. He gives them such a high floor.
So much of this comes back to coaching, too. Mark Daigneault, he's getting a lot of credit, and rightfully so. Developing this young core, making smart adjustments mid-series.
He's been phenomenal. His whole approach emphasizes versatility, development, defense. He talked about how even though the finals experience is new for them, their sort of foundational principles have kept them grounded. They trust the process.
And he's not afraid to tinker, right? Like giving Caruso those extended minutes.
Exactly. He pushes the right buttons. Seems like the players really buy in.
Let's just quickly run through these rosters, remind everyone who we're talking about. For OKC, the starters. SGA. Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren.
A really talented young starting 5.
And key guys off the bench, Caruso, Isaiah Joe, Cason Wallace, Kenrich Williams, Isaiah Hartenstein, Aaron Wiggins, Tony Bradley. Just impressive depth they've built.
Yeah, great drafting and development. Then for the Pacers, coached by Rick Carlisle, known for that high-octane offense, starters, Halliburton, Andrew Nembhard, Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner.
Another strong starting group.
For sure. And their bench is key, too. Mathurin, Obi Toppin, TJ McConnell, Isaiah Jackson, Thomas Bryant, Ben Shepherd. That depth is why they've been able to withstand injuries and keep games close.
Okay, so here we are. Thunder lead 3-2. Game 6 is coming up in Indianapolis. What does history tell us about this situation?
Well, history definitely favors the Thunder now. When a final series is tied 2-2, the team that wins Game 5. They've gone on to win the whole thing 23 out of 31 times. That's about a 74% success rate.
So the odds are pretty heavily stacked against the Pacers now.
They are. Comebacks from 3-2 down are rare. Not impossible. Think about the 2016 Cavs, but it's a tough climb. But hey, stats don't decide the games, right? The players do.
Right. And Game 6 is Thursday, June 19th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 7.30 Central, back at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indy. It'll be on ABC.
The stakes couldn't be higher. For OKC, it's a chance to win the franchise's first title since the move from Seattle, first in 79 overall. They'll want to bring that same defensive intensity, rely on SGA and Jalen Williams, and close it out on the road.
And for the Pacers.
It's literally do or die, backs against the wall. They have to protect their home court. They need to figure out the Halliburton situation, his health, how to get him going, and find answers for OKC stars. If they can win Game 6, they force a Game 7 back in OKC on Sunday, June 22nd. Everything is on the line for them. The pressure in that building is going to be immense.
What a setup. This whole deep dive, it just highlights everything, doesn't it? Individual brilliance like SGA and Jalen Williams, the coaching chess match, team resilience.
And just how fast momentum can swing in a series like this. One game, one quarter, one player getting hot can change everything.
It leads to a fascinating question heading into Game 6, maybe Game 7.
Yeah?
Well, history favors OKC, but the Pacers are fighting for survival at home. So what really makes a champion? Is it that consistent star power? Or is it maybe that ability for someone unexpected, like Jalen Williams in Game 5, to rise up when the pressure is absolutely maxed out?
That's a great question. Is it the steady hand or the explosive moment? Championship DNA. It's probably some mix of both, right? But seeing which one defines the end of this series, that's the fascinating part.
Definitely something to keep in mind as you watch what's shaping up to be, hopefully, a thrilling finish to these NBA Finals.